And now we're going for this average problem. Averages and ages. So the first problem here we're going to see is the average problem. So a pupil's mark were wrongly entered as 83 instead of 63 due to the average marks for the class was increased due to this, the average mark for the class was increased by half the number of people in the class. So you just have to find the number of people in the class. And here we don't know the quantity. So let us consider this number now for time being as n, because we don't know. That is what you have to find out. This n is what you are going to find out. How about the average? Average is also not given here. It is only said that average is increasing by half, but average is not given. So let me assume this average also as A. Okay. And now there are three quantities you are aware of that. That is total, or I can say this is nothing but sum is always equal to average into quantity. So these are the three terms we generally use in the average problem. So when you have assumed this number, the quantity and the average, that means total can be founded as n into A. So what's the total here? Let us write this. We don't know how many quantities are there, but there are some quantities which are added. And given that one of the value is entered as 83 instead of 63. So we are not worried about the other values, but there are some values here. We don't know how many are there, but there is one value which is supposed to be 63, the actual value. And you have many more in this. This sum, when you add all this, is going to be the total sum. And as for the problem, we have the total sum is equal to average into the quantity, AN. Right? But the thing is now, there is one small change has happened here. The change is nothing but this 63 is replaced by 83 by mistake. So you have many more quantities here. We don't know how many are there, but this 63 is increased to 83. So as other values are not changing, so only this is changed. That means your total is also going to increase by that number. So 63 and 83 difference is 20. So it's increased by 20 number. So whatever you have the average earlier you had, when you had 63, I'm sorry, not the average, the total. When the total is nothing but A into N, is now going to increase by another 20 because 20 more are added here. Okay, this is going to be the new total. And also is given that the average is increased by half. So how to find this average? You have this total. So you have AN plus 20 as a total divided by the again same N is going to be the new average, which is nothing but A plus 1 by 2. That's all. You have this equation, you can solve for it. So I'll just take out this A n by n plus 20 by n equals A plus 1 by 2. So this will get cancelled. And also, you know, this A and A will get cancelled. So finally, what you have is 20 by n equals 1 by 2. Or we can say n equals 40. This is quite simple. There are different ways to solve this problem, but I can just say that this one, like the logic behind it, you're supposed to understand. I can only tell you the thing, like in the class, I'll again explain about this logic. That is when you have this 20 increase, the change in the quantity as 20, the sum. The sum actually, the change is only 20. Due to this, the average is increased by half. This 20 is distributed to all the quantities equally. That is how we had to assume. So like when half is given to each, that means the total number of quantity you can find out just by taking this 20 divided by half, which is nothing but 40. So this is just a shortcut. It's nothing to do with this problem. So if I say that the half, instead of half, it's increased by 1, then I can just say that the number of quantity is nothing but 20 by 1, which is nothing but 20. If it is increased by 2, then I can say it's 20 by 2. That number of quantities are 10. So this is a shortcut. You don't have to go for all this, but the logic should be very clear. If you're clear with this, with the change, whatever is happening, you can just directly find out what's the quantity is. The next problem is the average monthly income of P and Q is 550. The average monthly income of Q and R is 6250, and the average monthly income of P and R is 5200. The monthly income of P is asked. So average is given, you're asked to find the quantity. It's quite easy. So what I can do is just take the data whatever is given. So given that P plus Q by 2, that is average of the 2 is 5050. So in that you can just say that P plus Q, when you want to take the sum alone, it's nothing but 5050 into 2. Don't try to multiply this, because normally, unless otherwise it is required, don't multiply, because last minute you can do it. If it is not required, it's a waste of time for you. Next is you consider the Q and R. So when you know that, you can write it in this form, like 2 times of this average. So same thing for Q and R, I can directly write Q plus R is nothing but 6250 into 2. Similarly, the next two, P plus R is equal to 5200 into 2. So these are the 3 values you have. When you add all the 3, you know that here when you're adding this thing, each one is added twice. So therefore I can say it is 2 times of P plus Q plus R. And here also everything is like 2 times. So I can just take out this one. Then I can say 5050 plus 6250 plus 5200. 2 and 2 will get cancelled. And now you have to find the value of P. So what I can do is, when you want the value of P, that means I need to eliminate these 2. So you can just consider this Q plus R, whatever is given here. That equation you can write here, like Q plus R. So what is Q plus R? It is nothing but 2 times of 6250. And subtract this from this. So that means you're going to subtract. So when you subtract this one from this, you will get only. So we get here P, which is equal to this side. You can see that you are going to cancel this part with this one. So the left out now is going to be 5050 plus 5200 minus 6250. So when you add this term, 5000 plus 5000 is going to be 10,000. 200 plus 50 is going to be 250. So this is going to be 10,250. And then subtract this 6,250, which is nothing but 4,000. So your answer is 4,000.